Thank you. All right. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Tuesday, May 9th, Ashland Board of Health meeting. Just a quick disclaimer, this agenda is subject to change and includes those items reasonably anticipated by the chair to be discussed at the meeting. Not all agenda items may in fact be discussed, and other agenda items not listed may be also brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. Sorry, I'm not really in this. So we'll bring the meeting to order at 6:06. As always, you know, the first item is, after that is citizens' participation. I don't see Mark here, which is odd. But I'm assuming that means that there isn't any citizens' participation. Any board members want to say anything? Okay, so I'll say one thing. I helped Raj a little bit at the GreenUp Ashland Day, which is an awesome community event. You know, I have done it before. I just haven't done it for a while. It's so nice to, you know, see these people care about, you know, keeping the environment that they live in, you know, cleaner and nicer for everybody. There were families that came in, just a lot of people that you know, just neighbors and people in the community that take time out of a beautiful weekend to clean up stuff. So it's really just a nice event, and it was nice seeing Raj there. I met his little boy, who's adorable, a very well-behaved young man, and so it's just a nice thing to see how people give, kind of like Ed. Ed just does everything. Very, very nice event. So if you haven't done it, you know, one year, even if you just want to go help, it's nice to see. So, yeah. All right. So let's move on to 3, the groundwater use restrictions regulations. So is Mike supposed to be here for this?
Dr. Ron, yes, to my understanding.
Okay.
Jen's just, sorry, excuse me, Jen's coming on right now.
Oh, okay. So, hey, Jen, how are you? Or maybe it's Michael Herbert.
Can everybody hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Yeah, Mike, you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay.
Let me see if I can. My camera will start here. Guys, me and technology, it's just not a good thing. Oh,
there you go.
Look at that. Awesome. This camera is a lot better than mine. Sorry, I'm on another person's computer. Anyway, I'm here, folks.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Raj, do you want to preface anything here, or just let Mike take it away?
I guess Mr. Herbert will start, you know, so and then we'll discuss.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. So I'm here before the board tonight to talk about the implementation of new regulations restricting groundwater use in the area that is currently contaminated by the Nyanza plume. So this is almost like a belt and suspenders approach. We really don't have any wells within this area, this groundwater contamination area. But what this new regulation does is it prohibits wells for basically any use, including irrigation, certainly drinking water, and other aspects that you might extract groundwater from the ground to use, except in certain situations. There are certain exceptions. You know, one being like if you're going to use it for a closed loop geothermal system, you know, that there's an exception for that. There's also an exception process. An applicant could potentially fill out an exception form to the Board of Health, and the Board of Health would have to listen to, that person's case and make a determination as to whether or not what they're doing still meets the intention of the groundwater restriction of overlay. So in a nutshell, that's kind of what it is. I'll just go back a little bit and talk about the fact that this is related to Nyanza. And I can give you a deep dive into Nyanza a little bit, and just when Nyanza became a Superfund site, and more importantly, when they decided to remediate the site, they split things up into 4 operational units. So operational unit 1 is where the cap is. And so you have a bunch of toxic material that is in that location and capped with a trench around it to ensure that groundwater seepage does not get into the, into the system, if you will. You have operational unit 2, which is where the actual chemical company was, and where they had lagoons that they actually dumped the toxic chemicals in, and which has actually created the groundwater plume that we're talking about right now. Operational unit 3 is the restored eastern wetlands, which if you've been on Trolley Brook Trail, that beautiful wetland area to the side was once a contaminated mess. And after excavating, I think it was like 10 feet deep to clean soil, they basically put a restoration plan together for the wetlands. And operational unit 4 is the Sudbury River. So again, this is impacting operational unit 2, the groundwater contamination point. And so what happens is, as groundwater flows through that operational unit 2 site, it contaminates the groundwater, and then that flows into the downtown area. And so what we have is we have a contaminated plume underground within that area. And that is constantly monitored by DEP and the EPA. They're constantly looking to see if that plume changes and morphs. So there's always a vigilant watchdog on making sure that the plume is still in the location that it was before. And again, just to start back at the beginning, this groundwater regulation limits the extraction of any groundwater within that plume area. So that was a little all over the place. I apologize for that. Hopefully it wasn't too confusing. And so the board would need to adopt this.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. I'm surprised that nothing like this was in place before. In my 6 years, I haven't, been aware that anybody's, asked for anything like that. Aren't there? So there's no deed restrictions, on these houses, or at least, kind of, means for people to buy them, that they know that this is in the plume, and that, or I don't know if that's correct or not. Raj, you know anything about that?
So, Dr. Ron, what's in the regulation right now? The assessor's office is going to mark these properties that are in this Exhibit A. Moving forward, yes, there will be a sign on the assessor's database that we're going to work with the assessor's department, that they're going to mark it that, hey, this is in the plume area, so the things will be restricted there. Similarly, when people are going to go in front of the planning board or building department, they're going to give them the copy of this regulation in case any property falls under this plume. So we're going to work together, multiple departments, informing people about this, about the regulation and what can be done and what cannot be done.
But I'm saying, even previous to this, is there, there's no type of recognition anywhere that, these homes were in this area?
Only thing, sir, I can say on this is like, if anybody in this area try to put a well or something, no well driller will drill a well here, given if they drill it, it'll become a contaminated site by itself. So the good thing with regulation will be, like, will be further restricting, if somebody try to do it, or that it was done without our information, so something on those lines,
Yeah.
The only other thing that I would add to that is that some of the houses in this plume area are outfitted with basically a vapor mitigation system, essentially what looks like a radon system to allow the gases to kind of go out of the house and not into a trapped room. So the toxic chemicals that are in the plume, a lot of people think that if you get it on your hands, it's going to melt away or something like that. That's not where, I mean, obviously that's not, you don't want to bathe in it by any means, but really where the toxicity comes in is it filters through the ground and actually turns into gases and turns into vapor, so liquid to vapor, and then goes into like enclosed basements areas. And so it stays trapped in that area. And so you're constantly breathing that. So that's why you see some homes outfitted with that vapor mitigations.
Yeah. That's the only mitigation I was aware of.
Mine is
I'm
just
sorry,
a question.
Bernadette.
So the people that live, that have properties around that area, so right now they're not aware there's contamination somewhere, no? Are they aware that the people who buy properties in these areas you're talking about, are they aware there's this chemical contamination in their properties?
Right now, there's not anything official that requires a notification, or there's nothing that's on the deed that lists that right now. Again, part of what this groundwater regulation will do is it will at least allow us through the assessor's records to check that it's, to indicate that it's in that groundwater restriction zone. So they will have notice at that point.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Any other members? John, Ed? Nothing? Okay. Rajan, I'm sure you're good with this, right?
That is correct. So it'll be beneficial for the community,
okay.
definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So anybody like to make a motion to approve groundwater use restrictions sector regulation for the town of Ashland Board of Health?
I'll do it, Ron. And thanks, Mike. That was great.
Yeah.
And good to see you. I'll make a motion to accept the groundwater use regulation. Groundwater use restriction sector regulation for the town of Ashland.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. Any second? Aye. Okay, we had 2 from Bernadette and Ed. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Oh, Barbara too. That's great. All right. So that passes 5-0. Yeah, Mike, that was good. I had never known about those 4 sectors. So yeah, about that.
I got very familiar with it in 2016.
Yeah.
The apartments were being built.
We
can talk about it all day.
Yeah, I'll bet you can. Be nice if we could just clean it up and not have to talk about it at all. So, but I guess that's not.
Well, to that extent,
yeah.
The EPA did announce recently that they are going to inject $20 million into a new supercharged extraction system that extracts the toxic chemicals. It's called DNAPL, technically.
Yeah.
Into basically a container, and they transport it off site. Additionally, the technology has advanced such that they can inject like different kinds of chemicals into the ground that neutralize the toxic chemicals. So they'll be using part of that too. So it's still going to take a long time. It's still going to take many, many years to get it up to it.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. I knew that there was something like that, but I didn't. Is there a time frame for that?
They're starting to work on it right now in terms of the design.
Wow.
And hopefully they'll be able to start the construction of that system either later this year or early next year.
How long? You said that
exciting news.
It'll take several years, but not clear how long that will take. Mike, will the 20 million cover the entire process?
According to the EPA, yes.
Yeah.
So, we unfortunately are at their mercy in terms of the accuracy of their information and what they provide to us. But I will have to say DEP and EPA have been very straight shooters, at least since I've been town manager, about these issues, and have been very candid and very frank. And Raj, I suspect you would agree with me,
Yes,
that
sir.
assessment. So we trust them right now. We couldn't always say that.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you
All
so
right,
much.
That's great. Yeah, thanks, Mike. We appreciate it, and yeah, I'm sure you're welcome to stay, but I'm sure you have a lot of other things to do. So,
Well, I'm supposed to be in another meeting right now too,
okay.
which I will go to, and I will let you continue your meeting. But before I go, Ron, I know this is your last meeting.
Yeah.
Is it somebody else's last meeting too?
Bernadette's.
Bernadette, it's your last meeting?
Yeah, Bernadette. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just want to take a moment and thank you both for your service to the board. And you've been great board members. The Board of Health has not always run efficiently or smoothly or productively, but certainly it has been since you've been on the board. And I think you've really set a good tone.
Thank you.
Future boards to come on. So thank you for your work.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, I'll be around. So, okay.
Good night, everybody.
All right. Thank you.
Night.
Thank you.
All right. Great. So agenda item 4, body art regulations, review and approve. Raj, I'm going to hand this over to you.
Yes, sir. So I just want to inform the board member,
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
We did take a vote on this, and approve the regulation last month, maybe like 3 meetings back.
Right.
And after that, I came to know that, this need to be run by the town council, and they recommended some edits, there were some grammatical things, couple of definitions to be added. So we refined everything recommended by them. We had a couple of reviews. So the current draft we have sent it to the board is all set, ready to go, So again, apology, that we have to do this again, but we did pass this regulation, I guess 3 meetings back, but this is again just for the refined version, that we're gonna take the vote tonight, And I'm open for any questions if any board member have on the draft we sent it yesterday.
Yeah, that's pretty. It's what we spoke about. It's just all completed. So, anybody want to make a motion to approve the body art regulations? Nobody?
You have to make your last one.
I have to make my last one? What do you mean? Oh, I'm sorry. Anybody? I'm sorry.
I'll go for it.
Okay.
I did it before anyway, and then it was edited. So I will make the motion to accept the body art regulations as written.
Okay, that's great. Any seconds?
I'll second it.
Nobody?
I'll second it.
Okay, you're gonna second it. Thank you, Barbara. All right. Anybody want to vote yes on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Aye.
All right. All right. Everybody looks like that's a unanimous vote. Okay.
Thank you.
That's great. Yeah. Thank you. So, number 5, Mary Mortensen Public Health Award. Discuss potential nominees for the 2023. I know Ed usually has a lot of people that he likes to thank that work behind the scenes that may be candidates. Raj may, have a few people. I don't know if Bernadette and Barbara have any. Anybody have anybody they'd like to nominate for this?
I don't have anyone, Ron, that I can think of. But was it Mike that had the town manager's office had someone in mind? I thought I read that some.
Yeah.
That is correct. You know, they did send a recommendation, you know, a nomination in.
Yeah.
Did you get that, Laura?
Yeah, Michael Herbert had sent out an email to the board recommending Marie Kane.
Oh,
She's
that's right.
part of the Ashland committee that actually was part of the NIANSA, which was spoken of earlier. She's been a part of that group for many years, I believe. And wasn't she at the meeting a couple weeks ago, Raj?
That is correct. She was at the briefing, you know, the press conference for the new funding, you know, at the NIANSA site. I mean, when we did that.
Laura, you were breaking up a little bit, and my hearing isn't so good. So I'm sorry. Who was that?
That's Marie Kane.
Okay.
I can send the board some information about her. You know, her speak to publicly about. But I know she lost a son and in the 80s, and she was part of the NIANSA group. So she's been very involved, and I think Michael, in his letter, I can pull it up and try and put it on the screen if you like.
Sure.
Sorry, just trying to find the email. I didn't have it ready. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Can you see the whole thing?
Yeah. You can see the first page.
Laura, can you just scroll down? That's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So, Raj, do you want to read it? Somebody?
So I actually know Marie too, just so you
Okay,
guys know also. She's she was a registered nurse. She was the nurse at St. Bridget's School for many years. So I'll actually make the nomination.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And just not that Ed, not that you don't deserve it every year, because I think you do, but if, certainly, I would accept that nomination. I think we all would, but just based upon what you and Jay have done to make this remote area medical clinic available to the town, and how much time and effort you put in, I would put you both right up there again, for all the time and effort that it takes to, put that thing together. And, I know it's going to go off, and I know it's going to be a great benefit to not only our community, but other surrounding Metro West communities. And, I don't know how else to, at least recognize that. Then, I would, say you two for that. This project is really a special thing that you've done, and Ed, you just continue to do everything for the town, which is commendable. I think that's just what you do and who you are. So
yeah, well, let's try that next year after this summer, see how it goes, right, Jay?
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing. I mean, I would be flattered and obviously honored, but it hasn't happened yet. And I know you won't be here, Ron, to make the nomination, but we can remind people that
I can. I can be a citizen, and and put my 2 cents in anyway. But
Sure.
I can't. I don't think we can thank you enough for all the time and effort that it takes to get it done. And with the contacts that both you and Ed have, I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, and I'll just say, I know it's not about that right now, but it's also Steve Mitchell and Ed Hart. I mean, the whole team has been awesome.
Right. I would the whole team. Right?
Yeah.
I knew there were a few more people involved. Exactly.
But I'm impressed with Marie Kane, and I know her, through families and sports and all of that. So I would definitely defer to Mike's nomination if we can do that. I don't know how the rest of the group feels.
Yeah. No, well, would anybody like to make a motion to, accept the nomination of Marie Kane for this award for this year?
I'll make the motion. I'll make the motion to accept Marie Kane.
Okay, that's great. Thanks, Ed. Any second? That's great. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Aye. Okay. That's great. And usually Laura sets this up, and I don't even know, Laura, will the next meeting actually be in person now that the COVID crisis will officially be over on Friday?
Dr. Ron, we can continue this till 2025. The governor's office have extended it for a couple of years. So it's the board's discretion. If they want to continue remote or if they want to in person. So
all right,
but definitely extended. So
okay. Well, I know that at least officially for the hospital, you don't need to wear a mask anymore after this Friday. So, okay. All right. Right. Well, that's great. And then speaking of Jay and remote access, remote area medical, any updates?
There is one very nice update from the Metro West Health Foundation. They have made a donation for $5,000. So we're getting close to our goal of 30,000. So that was very nice, because it was actually off a grant made off cycle. So, and I don't think that they usually do that. So that's good. And but it's sort of been kind of more of the same, just trying to recruit volunteers and raise money. And that's basically it. No other updates since the last time we met. Yep.
Okay. All right. Ed, do you have anything?
Sorry, no, I have nothing.
No. Okay. All right. Great. All right. Thank you. All right. Move along to the health director's agenda. Raj, you're up.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So, still doing good on the childhood vaccine clinic, and we're doing it COVID clinic tomorrow, 3 to 6. Couple of weeks back, the CDC DPH approved additional bivalent dose. So this is going to be the second bivalent dose that's approved for citizens 65 plus, and they need to have their last dose 4 months back. So that's the condition. And for immunocompromised, approved again if they had their last dose 2 months back. So for the last time I checked, we have like 11 people signed up for tomorrow. So hopefully going to be a good clinic.
Okay.
As Dr. Ron already mentioned about GreenUp event, was a great event. Spent some good weather. I guess a lot of volunteers, a lot of families came together, and I'm so glad that this is happening in the community. Hopefully we do more and more. Definitely there is some litter issues going on in the town, kind of illegal dumping. Hopefully people get more education, or we can provide some more, so that they understand, the negative impacts of littering and all that. But good event. Update on the housing case that we have at the Joanne Drive Apartments, Chestnut Place. Still waiting to hear from the management. This order letter was delivered almost first week of April. I did have a communication. They did make some corrections, but still waiting. Hopefully get that done soon. It was 13 Joanne Drive, Unit 4. 137 Pond. The younger brother came to the town hall a couple of times. We did have some documentation from him regarding the repairs, restoration work at the property. The paperwork he submitted was total repairs costing $28,000 that we have discussed with our team, and to everybody's opinion, they are deficient, because 28,000 for doing such a big repairs, given no heat, no water and stuff, but was very minimal. So we're still working on it. I have asked him to submit a plan of action to the Board of Health, like what are the steps they're going to take, to do repairs. You're still working on that. Hopefully the occupants, the owners submit it soon so we can get going, but it's still work in progress.
Raj, question for you, and maybe we saw this. I apologize if you have to repeat it, but without going into a lot of detail, what are the minimal repairs that need to be done?
It need to be functional, sir. How do we take it, given when we got into the property, like there was no heat, right? No water. That need to be functional, and had a discussion with the building commissioner as well as our coding task force, but both, all of us, our opinion, it's gonna take a lot of money also to get the repairs done. The structure is not stable. I mean, that much money is very very less. Like it's like fraction even. To do all these repairs. So we asked them to come up with a better plan, a concrete one. So that we can go moving forward. So
did they have a formal quote?
There was a quote on a couple of things, like the AC unit, there was one, and there was a contractor, I guess, for the roof repair, but that's all to my understanding, so hopefully they submit, or we'll see what next steps, the board or the management want to take to resolve this. And I guess we're going to be meeting the town council tomorrow on this, to decide the next steps. But besides that, 2 papers, we don't have no written communication from the owners, regarding the repairs or plan, how we're going to do this, that we've been constantly asking them that, hey, we're gonna need that in writing, how do you plan to address the issues?
Right.
So more to follow on that,
Yep. Thank you.
You're welcome. Waushakum Pond, I did get a note from a Framingham health director that they are doing some educational flyers on the Framingham side regarding algal blooms in the Waushakum Pond. So we're gonna also do the same on all our Ashland properties that have septic around the pond. So we did send it to the board, though maybe next week or something we're gonna put the flyers out. Just want to bring it to the board's attention. Just educational stuff, to get the septic pumped and all that stuff. So we avoid any sort of stuff going into the pond, and that can be one factor for the algal bloom that's been happening for at least some time now. And again, as Mr. Michael said, I thank you so much, to Dr. Ron, Bernadette, to spare the time, for the board, especially during COVID, like a lot of work, so we definitely appreciate your time, and efforts to be here. Thank you again,
Yeah, thank you.
And about Bernadette's resignation, where Laura did send out to the board what next steps are. I guess if any candidates are interested, to be on the board for this 1-year term that's remaining, right? It's going to be a meeting together with the select board, with Board of Health, that they choose a candidate, I guess, Mr. Berman, you are mute, please.
No, I was just talking to someone here in my house.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Okay.
I thought you were trying to say something.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad to update the board that we did get increased funding for our nursing hours for the next fiscal year. The management have approved 19 hours per week for our nursing position. Currently, we have 5, so we got additional 14 hours. Hopefully to do much more stuff, coming year regarding nursing services, vaccinations, education, outreach, more on communicable diseases and all that stuff, So, and we have applied for the grant also for $20,000 from the Metro West Foundation. Hopefully we get that, and we have some good stuff to go for on the nursing front, So.
Hey, Raj, you're done. Can I just go back to the open seat?
Please.
So I watched the debate for all the debates the other night on WACA-TV, and I was a little confused because I think I thought that we had already known that Barbara was vacating her. I mean, Bernadette was vacating her seat. So now there were 3 candidates, but Barbara's rerunning, and then we've got 2 other candidates. So won't those 2 just automatically, if they were the only people running, get Bernadette's seat and Ron's seat, or how does that work?
Dr. J, that might be a technical question that we can bring it out, but I am not sure, because what happened, this was when Bernadette things came, it was past the ballot time or something, I guess, that if it was before, it might have happened. This is just my understanding. Again, I'm not very sure, but we'll follow the process, whatever it is, if we need to be given it to the 3rd candidate, wonderful, I am not sure about that at this point, but we'll definitely have a conversation, at the town, like how this need to be followed,
Okay.
Right.
So,
Raj, I think.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, because I think it's kind of what Yolanda said. I don't know how much she had, but she said the 2 people have to still be voted in, because I think the time that they got Bernadette's resignation, it was, they had already gotten the information out that they are looking for 2 people. So those 2 people still have to be voted in. And then the one extra person will then kind of have to be, maybe come to the board and then people can, go through to the select board and they can have them go in for that 1 year, I think they say.
Yeah, and is that because you can only get the seat that you're actually running for? You don't fill in a seat because it happens to be open when you lost another race?
That's
No,
right. That's correct. That's why, right.
Yeah, unless if the person had got in to say they're going to step into Bernadette's position before the elections, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing can be, right, the duration of the term, so because the 2 positions are for 3-year term, right? Now, Bernadette positions have only 1 year left. So who get what will be a question 2, right? So I guess after the process is done, like it should be clear on the 16th, right? Like about the 2 candidates. And then I guess we'll check with the select board, like how this need to be followed, like again, with the management as well, and I mean, we'll be happy to, if there are any other candidates or, however the process works, but like I have limited information on that, like how this need to be followed.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be it is usually a collaboration, Raj, but I think from what I've seen before, they certainly prefer, that we get somebody that we like, and I don't think they would ever argue with who we picked because they're going to be on our board, so that's pretty much the way it's worked in the past when there's been an open slot. Normally everybody likes to talk to everybody, as far as, us speaking with the candidates and the either Mike Herbert or even some of the board of selectmen speaking, and then they're never going to not accept who we feel like would be the best candidates.
Yeah, I think when it happened with me, KG had vacated a seat, and then it turned out that I was essentially not appointed for the 1 year that he had 2 years left, but I was appointed for 1 year, and there was kind of I don't know if you guys remember, but an interview process, there was another person that was in, and then I had to run. I didn't realize I had to run. I thought that I would just finish out his term. So it's kind of weird, but
I didn't remember that. I figured you would finish out the term as well. That's interesting.
That's what I thought.
That's weird.
We'll definitely get guidance from the clerk's department, the management, like, a select board, however the process need to follow, So,
okay.
And I'm open for any more questions, please.
Yeah. Just, if you have a Reader's Digest version, I know you had told me Saturday, but how did you ever get 14 additional hours? Well, we've been fighting for, additional time for, nursing or even additional people for the Board of Health forever. How did that come about? If you can give us, that short story.
I am thankful to the management, that they have trusted me on this, maybe Mr. Berman set up the stage, for all these vaccinations we are doing right currently, so I guess hopefully we have done some work, with the shared services, with what we have currently, to get that trust, that we can do, we can do way more, if we're given the resources, and hopefully we will justify this, like that'll be the goal, provide way more services, but we have currently, expand the services we have, so that's the goal. So, but I'm thankful for the trust that's been shown, to give us this additional resources, and it'll definitely help, it's not going to be, but personally, as I always say, it might increase my workload a little bit more, to manage the staff, but I'm just happy that we got that, to provide the services,
Well, that's great. I don't know how you did it, but that's awesome.
Thank you.
So, okay. All right. Anybody else? for that? Okay.
Nope.
Moving on to the consent agenda. Usually we just pass these both as a single unit. Anybody like to make a motion to do that?
Yep. I make a motion to accept the
Yep.
consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, that's great. The second, okay, great. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay. All right. That's great. So the next meeting will be 2 weeks from tonight. So that'll be great. Anybody have anything urgent? I know you'll probably have to, reorganize the board. That's always going to be the first thing. So, that'll be the first thing on the agenda item. Next time, and I guess, you'll review, who wasn't voted in, so we can start that process of getting that 5th seat filled. So those will be the first 2 things on there. And I don't know, Laura, is the Mortensen award, is that given out at the next or recognized at the next, or is that to be determined?
We can contact Marie and let her know that she's been nominated and see what her schedule is, if she can.
Okay.
Be on.
Yeah, so you can make that a floating thing, but that's always a nice thing.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Aaron.
Okay.
And I would like to invite Bernadette and Dr.
Yeah.
Ron, if you can come on that meeting, just to hand over the award, Only thing is, we're not sure, if we're gonna do the May 23rd meeting, given because next week is election.
Oh, okay.
So that was a question,
Yeah.
but we will check with the board, or we.
If we're gonna do that award, we should, whatever, for the meeting that we do the award, we should have an in-person meeting and use the select board room upstairs.
Sure. Mr. Berman, I will check with you, and other board members, Dr. Ron, if we're going to do the meeting for that, that's great, we can do that. But let me know if May 23 works for everybody, given because this is an odd week for us, because last week our meeting got postponed. So if everybody is available on the 23rd, we'll do that, but and otherwise our routine meeting should be with June 6th, so you want me to check with you?
Okay.
Once we check with Mary her availability and then go about it, will that work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's great.
Okay.
So, all right. Anybody else with anything? Right. So just from me personally, I want to thank, Laura and Raj. They're, great to work with. This is not hard what I do. They do everything, especially Laura. She makes the notes, she makes the agenda. She lets me know if there's any changes. Going back, I know Laura for a long time now, since, Mark and some tumultuous days on the board, which I didn't believe until I was actually on the board. But Ed, what a steadying force and an awesome, resource you are for the town, even in this capacity. I know you're not on the force here anymore, but everything that you did for the town during COVID, going above and beyond, with doing everything you had to do just to help people, which is what you do, in both in your job, as an officer as well as a nurse, and taking care of people. You did a hell of a job. What and you never asked for anything. So I'm recognizing that, and I know there's a ton of people that that also feel that way and recognize that, and you should be really commended for that. It's just who you are as a person, and you're a terrific asset to this town, you know, on the board as well. So thank you for all you've done for everybody.
Thank you.
And yeah, you're welcome. And, you know, Jay, you're following in his footsteps. You're doing a great job with this undertaking, you know, with his help and a few other people. And, you know, going back to, you know, with Laura and I, back to Mark Oram, you know, a long time ago, you know, he showed me a lot of ropes with the Board of Health, and, you know, Raj is continuing on with that. He's a great leader, and, you know, I see a lot of good things happening, and I see people that work together, and, you know, Barbara and Bernadette, you know, your service, you know, obviously is, you know, is terrific as well. Anybody that volunteers their time, you know, to have, you know, to do this job, you know, it's definitely helpful. And, you know, so, you know, I thank you, and I'm sure the rest of the board does, you know, for all your service. And,
No,
so
absolutely.
I know I'll be around. I know I'll be in touch with Raj if I need to sign anything, you know, for, you know, any vaccines, anytime, you'll let me know. And
I wanna add a thing on that,
Yeah.
you know, no, not to bring other towns into this, like,
Yeah.
you know, how lucky we was
Yeah.
to get the standing orders done from you, or in the future,
Yeah.
hopefully we will get the same. Hudson have their
Not a-
clinic approved for maybe over 2 months now. It's such a difficult time for somebody, you know, signing their standing orders, you know, physicians asking
Yeah.
money for it. Trust me, there was like, I guess over 2 months that nobody signed their standing orders, you know. So, I mean, we are so lucky that I get it done same day from you, you know. So it's
Well,
great, you know. So
it's not hard. It's a signature, Raj. That's it.
no, but sir,
I'm happy to do it.
it's a lot of liability, you know. I know for you make it so easy, but like it's a lot of stuff, you know, with I mean, whatever you are signing, you're taking all the responsibility, you know. It's like a big liability situation there. But yeah, thank you. But I want to bring it out, like how lucky we are just to get that signature same day, with the communities are struggling just to get the standing order signed, you know. So
Yeah.
that's there.
I would like to say something as well.
Thank you.
So I would love to thank everybody, and I'm so lucky to be part of this team. Thank you guys for allowing me to be part of this team. You've been so resourceful to me. When I came in, I didn't even know what exactly the Board of Health does, but now I have an insight of what goes on in the Board of Health, and I can talk about it. So I won't mention names, but everybody has been good to me and very resourceful, and I appreciate everybody, and hope to catch up with you guys soon. I'll be around. I live in Ashland, so
Yeah.
always come in and say hello.
And Bernadette, I got you on some planes. During COVID.
Yeah, right.
No. Oh, Ed, can I even ever forget that? I can never forget that.
Yeah.
I tell everybody about that story. So, oh, yeah.
And Ron, 6 years is a long
Yeah.
time to commit to volunteering. And
Yeah.
you've been amazing.
Hopefully he'll be
6 years
back,
is
you know. It's just
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
exam, right?
I think I will be. Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd like to help out some more. Yeah, definitely like some of the other committees as well. But yeah, but thanks everybody. So I know you guys are going to do a great job. So, all right. Anybody want to make always the most important motion?
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Okay.
I'll
Second? We
Yep.
can all second at once. Second. All right. All right. Thank you,
All right.
everybody. Raj, I'll give you a
Thank you.
buzz.
Thank you, Ron.
All right.
Thank you,
Oh,
Ron.
thank
All right.
you.
And I'll talk to you,
Bye.
Jeff. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Laura. I'll talk to you soon too.
Bye.
Talk to you soon.
Bye, Bernadette.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.